Welcome to Premiership predictions for this weekend. We're going to start off this weekend with the early game, which is Nottingham Forest against Liverpool. Liverpool come into the game on the back of a great win last weekend against Man City. They also won in midweek as well by a goal to nil. So, two good wins for them and two clean sheets. So I think they'll be very confident, especially going to a team who are bottom of the table in Forest, who not had a great start to the season, only won one game so far this season. And I think the problem with Forest this season is they bought a lot of players and they're just taking time to adapt to each other, getting used to playing with each other. So I think it might take a while for them to get a few results, and we'll see by the end of the season whether they'll stay off or not. But anyway, go to the game. I think it will be a Liverpool win. I'm going to go for 2-0. So the second game of the weekend is Manchester City versus Brighton. Man City, as I mentioned before, lost last week to Liverpool, but I expect them to bounce back here. They're a great team. Again, I hate Man City being a Man U fan, but you got to respect them. They are one of the best team, probably not in the league, probably even in the world at the moment. And I think Haaland at the moment is just unstoppable. He blanked last week, so I'm sure he'll want to score 2, maybe 3 goals this weekend. And I fully expect them to win this game. Brighton, are a good team. They've got some great players, and they started the season really well, actually. It was just unfortunate that they lost their manager to Chelsea, Graham Potter. But no, I think they'll be okay this season. Yeah, completely fine. They'll be mid-table. Probably get top half, I reckon. They've got a good chance of making that top half. But I think, going to Man City, it's going to be a hard ask. Not many teams this season will go there and come away with anything. I just don't expect them to get anything out of this game. I don't think it'll be a thrashing. I'm going to go for a 3-0 to Manchester City. So the third game of the weekend is Everton against Crystal Palace at Goodison Park. These two teams are fairly close in the league. Only 3 points separates them. So I don't really expect much in this game. Between the teams, it's going to be very close. Everton, for me, need to get the win more than Palace because, for one, they're home, but also they've lost their last 3 games. And I think the fans, can't turn on them when things are not going well. And we've seen this week already with Steven Gerrard losing his job. Lampard needs to be careful because, a couple of bad results, could eventually make him lose his job as well. So I think it's really important that they get a result this weekend. But Palace are a decent team. They've got some really good players, in the forward line. Don't score many goals, Crystal Palace, but this will be a close game. I don't expect too much in it. I think it'll be a draw. It could be 0-0, but I'm going to go for a 1-1. So the evening game on Saturday is Chelsea up against my team, Manchester United. I think it's going to be a really close game. We got a great win in midweek. I would say our best performance of the season. So hopefully we can build on that and get another 3 points. But Chelsea are, it will be a tough game. They drew 0-0 in midweek, but they are still ahead of us in the league. They are currently just in 4th. It'll be a very tough game. I'm going to do these predictions, every week, and I obviously want my team to win. But I'm going to be honest and give what I really think, not what I want. So this weekend, I actually do think we're going to win, though. Just because I think we got the confidence from the midweek win, and I'm really confident this weekend. There's been a few games this season where I've not been confident, and I've actually predicted us not to win. But actually, I just got a feeling this weekend that we're going to win. I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. I'm going to go for a 1-0 to Manchester United. So the first of the Sunday games this weekend is Aston Villa up against Brentford at Villa Park. Aston Villa just sacked their manager in midweek after losing to Fulham 3-0. They're on a really bad run of form, Aston Villa, so it was no big surprise that happened. So it'll be interesting how they bounce back. Normally, when a manager gets sacked, it's normally normally the players do bounce back pretty well. They haven't got a manager yet. They'll probably get one next week, I would have thought, or in the next couple of weeks. So it'll be interesting who they get on that front. But they're up against the Brentford team, who got a good draw in midweek against Chelsea. I really do like the look of Brentford. They beat Manchester United this season 4-0. But even after that, they've done really well. They're kind of mid-table at the moment. They're just in the top half. And I think Tony is their danger man. He's a really top striker, and I would love him to come to Manchester United. I think he could definitely go to the World Cup. Hopefully he will, because I think he'll be a really good backup for Harry Kane. But yeah, we'll see that when the team gets announced in a few weeks. But yeah, this game, I think it'll be a closer game again. I don't see a lot on it. I think you'll see a reaction from Villa. I'm sure their home fans will want to see that, because that was a really bad result in midweek. And they've got what they wanted now, so they wanted the manager out. So now they have to get behind the team, I would say. And, because it's going to be a tough season for Villa. I think they'll be fine. I think they've got some really good players, but they've got to be careful, because you just never know. There's always that one big team that can always go down. And Villa could be that team. But I think they will stay up, but they've just got to be careful. But anyway, going to this game, I think it will be a 1-1 draw. So the next game is Southampton against top of the table Arsenal. Arsenal had a great start to the season. Only one loss this season so far. That came against Manchester United. And it will just be interesting to see how long they can carry this on for. A lot of people think they're going to drop out very soon. But we'll see what happens. They're up against the Southampton team, who were on a bad run of form, but they did win in midweek against Bournemouth away from home. So we'll see whether that will give them the confidence to get a result here. Despite that win actually in midweek, the fans are still not behind the manager. I think there were still a few boos from what I heard. So I think they need to put some good results together to otherwise the manager will be, I think, under pressure for his job. I think Arsenal will win this though. I think they'll have too much for Southampton. I think Southampton will do well. I think they'll maybe get to half time, maybe at 0-0. But I think Arsenal will come out on top at the end, and I think they're going to win by 2-0. So the next game is Leeds up against Fulham at Ellen Road. Leeds are on a bit bad run of form at the moment. Not 1-5 now. Lost in midweek as well to Leicester. So that was a big defeat as well. Because Leicester are close to them at the bottom. So that was a bit of a disappointing result for them. They're up against a Fulham team that have had a decent start to the season. They're currently just in the top half, and they've got a good few wins this season already. And they seem to be a team that always gives every team a game, score quite a few goals, can also concede quite a lot as well. They've scored 19 this year and conceded 20. So I can see a few goals in this one actually. I'm going to go for a high scoring game. I'm going to go for Leeds 2, Fulham 3. So the next game is Wolves against Leicester City, a relegation 6-pointer here, you could say. It's Leicester, who are currently in 19th, up against Wolves, who are in 18th. So yeah, this is going to be a really big game. Both teams this season. Bit surprised they're probably down there. They're two big teams in the Midlands, and I think they'll be very disappointed how they've started this season. And they want to make sure they get some wins soon to get away from the relegation. Leicester got a really much needed win in midweek up against Leeds, so that was very important for them. Wolves, still down there. They lost in midweek. They won the game before that, so this will be a very tight game. I don't see a lot on it because they're both close in the table, and I think that will show in this game. I think it might just be a close 1-0 to Wolves. So the next game is Tottenham against Newcastle. Tottenham lost in midweek, 2-0 to Manchester United, so they'll want to bounce back here with a win. They've had a good start to the season though. They're currently joint second with Manchester City, and I think they'll be really happy with how they performed this season. They're up against a Newcastle team who've actually got one of the best defences in the league this season. They got a good draw last week at Old Trafford, a 0-0, and then they beat Everton 1-0, so 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games. Tottenham actually also do have a decent defensive record this season. They actually had the best record up until the Man U game. So I think this will be a very close game, and as I said, both teams have got good defences, so this could be a 0-0. But I actually think it won't be 0-0, because I think both teams do have players on their day that can score goals, create chances. So I'm going to go for a 1-1. So the last game of the weekend is West Ham up against Bournemouth. I think this is going to be a really close game again. They're both next to each other in the league. Bournemouth just ahead by 2 points. In their last 3 games, they've won, drawn, lost. So I don't see a lot in this game. They're both in the bottom half at the moment. I think West Ham will be a bit disappointed with that. They had a good season last year, finishing in the top half, and I think they want to make sure they get back up there this season. Bournemouth, first time back in the Premier League after getting promoted last year, and they'll be fairly happy with their position at the moment. They've had some good wins so far. 3 wins, 4 draws, and 4 losses. So it's not too bad for a team that's just come up. But I think under the floodlights on a Monday Night Football, I think the West Ham fans will be up for it, and I think they're going to win this by 2-1.